Good morning. So today I'd like to pick up with Exiting the Matrix Part 10. My work actually has power again, so I have Wi-Fi at work, but still no power at home. So with our belief systems that we've identified that have been basically given to us and trained and reinforced, these belief systems are basically what prevent us from getting back in touch with reality again. So we have to identify all the belief systems and just get rid of them. They're not necessary. They're fake. And return back to just pure curiosity, because if we're always learning about everything around us, then we're not, kept in this box of belief systems. So generally, belief systems are going to have like an emotional mark attached to them, so to keep them there. Because if you just tell someone to believe something, they're not necessarily just going to believe it. But if you tell someone to believe something and then you make a big emotional impression on them, then the emotion is going to stick with their emotional body, and they're going to have the thought and the memory of the thought and the emotion all together. So we want to identify if we're having an emotional reaction about something, there's a good chance it's simply because it's a slave mark of a belief system that was given to us and reinforced with some emotional trauma, or emotional reinforcement of some variety. So basically, we want to be reviewing ourselves to the point where we're very rarely getting triggered, or at least to the point where we've identified what our triggers are. So if we're getting triggered, we know why it is, and we can put it in its place, can identify it and study it, learn more about it. It obviously it obviously has something to do with something that's real within us. It might be something that we've identified that's mostly not us. If someone does something mean to us and they're trying to be mean, we're not going to say that it's all our fault, but we are going to generally acknowledge that if someone says something mean to us and it bothers us, we haven't reached a state of full mastery around it, because there's a meme up there that says, there's some kind of an Asian master who's sitting around with the students. Someone else walks in, insults him, and then leaves, and the students say, hey, why did you just let that guy walk in and insult you? Why didn't you fight him? You're a master at fighting. And he says, because if someone brings you a gift and you do not accept that gift, whose gift is it? And everyone in the room says it's the person who gave the gift, and the master says exactly. So if someone gives us a gift, gives us their energy and their attention of negativity, and we choose not to accept it, we just are a passive observer of it, then the person who gave it feels it come back at them, because it didn't, just reflect it off. We didn't accept it, we didn't absorb it, we didn't resonate with it. We are vibrating at a frequency that did not resonate with the negativity. So we were curious and empathetic in our hearts, in our fourth chakra, which means we recognize there was a being who's still looking to achieve greater self-mastery and hasn't reached that point, and they are at the stage of evolution they are at, and all we can do is be in witness of where other people are at in their evolution and offer support for increasing our evolution when people are showing the signs that they're ready to do so. But generally, certain things have to take place in people's lives, and then people need to adjust to those things happening and slowly evolve. And then suddenly people wake up, or suddenly people want to wake up. So whenever people decide they want to wake up, that's when we want to be listening for giving some extra information. Because otherwise, all this stuff doesn't really make sense to the logical mind or the unconscious emotional body. No matter how powerful the logical mind is, or no matter how powerful the unconscious emotional body is, and which represents, like 99.9% of everybody. Even really, fairly conscious people are generally not very conscious. They're just powerful in their mind and powerful in their emotions, which gives them more ability than everyone else around them. But being self-aware, having a self-awareness practice, a self-reflection practice, again, allows us to use the scientific method on ourselves enough. We have to do it. We have to pass our own doctorate degree basically before we're really any good at it. We got to do this for 8 years at least to just break away with it. Observing our patterns, the way we limited ourselves and the way we restrict ourselves and the way that we've been wounded and imprinted, that's like a lifelong study. So we need a solid, college degree given to ourselves based on our own solid internal work to really get to a point where we can start helping others do this reliably. Because otherwise, it's just our own ego, our own darkness, whatever we haven't resolved, our triggers are going to get so much in the way. I've experienced this going into relationships, and then, unintentionally doing something that triggers someone and getting the unconscious response, which is out of proportion, but still trying to piece it together and say, okay, what did I do that triggered this event? I'm still taking responsibility for the fact that something I did triggered someone else, and there's a better way I can do something. It doesn't mean I have to conform to that person's way of doing things and I have to walk on eggshells. I don't even have to choose to be around that person anymore, but it means that I can learn more about being conscious and what about my actions have triggered other people. So we always have more to learn. So anyways, by identifying belief systems, getting rid of them in favor of curiosity, learning more, and being in a joy state, we exit the matrix. We simply step outside of it. So during this whole power outage and everything, I basically just said, I'm not going to leave my dream state. My dream state is what is working for me. This is what I've been doing for a while now, and it's really good. So I'm just going to stay there. I'm going to make it work. I'm going to be logical and practical. I check the fire maps, check the radio to see about the police chiefs and the fire chiefs to say what their predictions are and what's going on the ground. Provide practical solutions for, like water and food and, resources. And, just figure it all out in a very practical way. And drop any kind of fear. The main thing I was trying to do, I didn't have to try, it was just naturally there. But I could tell that there was a big hype movement. There was a desire to, clear the area of people so they could get fire trucks and stuff. They just didn't want people in the towns blocking the roads. That's the main thing. And two, that the power lines, they just want to shut off all the power lines for a long period of time in case there's damage. They don't want, damaged power lines with power going through them. So basically just staying on top of everything and not panicking, not having an emotional response. I don't have to have an emotional response to the situation. I can say, oh, well, I'm making do with less than I usually have, but I'm carrying out my mission, so I'm surviving every day. I'm doing all right. I do my meditation every day. I got plenty of water. There's not that big of a problem. I even have limited cell access through this all. I've had, not very good cell access, not enough for solid phone calls or video, but enough to get, updates from the local radios and enough to get the fire map to load a couple times a day, basics. So I've been doing all right. I also have some battery backup, some little batteries for my cell phone that have solar panels on them so I can charge them in the sun too. So my cell phone is pretty much guaranteed to be charged as long as there's, 3 or 4 days of sun a week. All right. Well, this is part 10 of exiting the matrix with letting go of belief systems because they were never ours to begin with. We are love and curiosity in our heart. That's even just our heart. We are so much more than just our love and curiosity, but at the very least we are love and curiosity, so we don't really need belief systems. And there's just so much beauty and joy out there, even in the darkness and even in the confusion. It can be fun to organize the structure and find why things work. Have the empathy and really be curious about every single aspect of what it means to be a conscious being. Every experience that a conscious being could have, it can be a fascination. It doesn't have to be an attachment, but it can be a fascination. All right, well, I hope you all stay fascinated and have a wonderful day.